But for women, it's less easy because men are less likely to take on another man's children. The concept of step parenting is less common here, and we kept it in our wallet because they said it is lucky charm for money. That is what condoms are for here in the Philippines. And others try some at-home methods out of their desperation to terminate their pregnancy, such as taking a pill or like paracetamol, I think, and they drink it with soda in place of water, but really like 1 liter of soda. Hey, it's me again, Beauty. So for today's video, we will be talking about the life of single moms here in the Philippines. Because a lot of you guys are asking me about this in the comment section. I keep saying that Philippines is a conservative country, Philippines are conservative, but why there's a lot of single moms here? Okay, so this is it. Based on a recent study by the World Health Organization, the Philippines has about 15 million solo parents, 95% or more than 14 million of whom are women. So you might probably notice and maybe wondering why the Philippines has a high percentage of single moms, knowing the fact that Philippines is known as a conservative and religious country. So in this video, I'll be discussing the things that I think are the reasons why there are so many women ending up being a solo parent and how they handle their life as a solo parent to their children. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first is religion. Being a largely religious nation, there remains a great social stigma to contraception and even talking about it. Religion is ingrained in Filipino culture. There's a taboo around sex in general, and many adults still feel awkward talking about contraceptives and whatnot. It took 13 years even for the reproductive health bill to pass through government, largely due to opposition fermented in society by the Catholic Church. Yes, the Church doesn't approve of the use of birth control and contraception because it is against natural law. It breaks the natural connection between the procreative and the unitive purposes of sex. It turns sex into a non-marital act. In modern times, different Christian churches hold different views about the rightness and the wrongness of using birth control. Since churches regard sex outside marriage as morally wrong, they believe that abstaining from sex would be morally better than having sex and using birth control. And the church only allows natural birth control, which means only having sex during the fertile period of a woman's monthly cycle. And all other artificial methods of contraception are banned because they believe that using contraception is intrinsically evil in itself, regardless of the consequences. So, the church opposes the so-called RH law, which guarantees universal and free access to nearly all modern contraceptives for all citizens, fertility control, sex education, and maternal care at government health centers. So yeah, the church opposes it. Even though they already passed this law under the opposition of the church, people are still stubborn. And I am not sure if there are really free contraceptives, to be honest. I think in the province, not all healthcare centers distribute free contraceptives. I remember the health center in our town. It is like nothing. There are no counselors, there are no medicines. So I don't really know. They already passed the RH law, but still early pregnancy is rising, thus the number of single moms. Another thing is there is no safe and legal way to get an abortion. Because the Philippines is predominantly Roman Catholic nation, abortion is believed to be a sin, akin to murder. Additionally, despite the insistence on the separation of church and state, the Philippine Constitution still integrates elements of religiousness in its articles. Even if the government already approved the RH bill, abortion remains illegal and doesn't seem like it's going to be one of our laws sooner or later, because our country is strongly influenced by religion. If someone is caught performing an abortion here, they will be punished by the authorities. So women who get pregnant have no choice but to keep it. Well, in the provinces, actually, there are old women who perform this, but it is very dangerous. They are not doctors. They are considered as quack doctors. And if they get caught by the authorities, they'll get imprisoned for 6 years. And others try some at-home methods out of their desperation to terminate their pregnancy, such as taking a pill or like paracetamol, I think, and they drink it with soda in place of water, but really like 1 liter of soda. I knew some of my cousins, I think they did that, which they say is extremely effective method, even if there's no proof that it really is effective. Or buying illegal medicines which might harm their health. It's scary. There are some deaths reported because of doing this desperate methods, so it's really scary. So for other women, instead of doing that, some would just accept the baby and continue to raise it alone, even without a father. Filipinos are very soft-hearted people. For us, babies are blessings and precious gifts. And like our famous Filipino line, we always say when someone gets pregnant at an early age or unwanted pregnancy, they would say, "Nandyan na eh, wala na tayong magagawa." What is sad though is people in the lower class are mostly the ones who get unwanted pregnancies. The people who don't have means to support a family. And the amazing thing is they will not learn their lesson. They will get pregnant again and again and again. I have actually neighbors in the province. A lot of them, they're like giving birth every year, every 2 years. It's amazing. That's why we call our barangay baby making factory. Sometimes I don't know if it's really lack of education, lack of sense of responsibility, or just lack of brain. I actually know someone who attempted to have an abortion. She was 17 years old when she found out that she was pregnant. She was crying a lot. She cried a lot and tried to hurt herself because she was very scared to tell her parents and to let everyone know, because here in the Philippines, it's a shame to be pregnant at a young age. People will judge them. The parents will judge them. Her boyfriend didn't want to keep it and told her to abort it, that he was not ready for the responsibility. So, but she was disappointed. She didn't want to abort it because she's religious and she feels guilty about it. She decided to take it as a blessing. She broke up with her boyfriend. She stopped her studies because of course no one wants to continue school after getting pregnant because people are gonna judge her and criticize her. So she raised her daughter without a father. She's struggling financially to the extent where that she couldn't afford to buy milk anymore. So she had to feed her baby with rice water, if you know that. It's the liquid part when the rice starts to boil. Well, it's scientifically proven that rice water is healthy and can be alternative. Lack of education. I can personally attest that Filipino parents do not directly talk about sex, almost as if the word is forbidden on the occasion that they do discuss something of the sort. Parents just go at it in a roundabout way. Their children just learn about sex through school, wherein discussion is not much intensive, or through peers, which may not be completely factual either. Virtually no sex education because schools in the Philippines are guided by religious teachings. Because of the lack of proper education, children grow up to become teens who become adults while still being on the tip of the iceberg when it comes to this kind of topic. Because teens know basically nothing about the topic. They become ignorant of the possible connotations of unprotected sex, and especially premarital sex. I saw a video interviewed a Filipino teen mom who admitted that she did not know she could get pregnant from sex. That's a bit surprising, but Honestly, with the lack of sexual education, not that shocking. Sex talk is still taboo. It's only discussed in science subjects like how a baby is created and how a baby is born. But science subject doesn't teach the consequences of teenage pregnancy or the responsibility that is associated with early pregnancy. I remember we have GMRC subjects in high school. We hardly talk about sex, and if we do, people would laugh. So the teachers are having a hard time discussing it. Students take it as an embarrassing thing to talk about. Same with parents. They don't educate their children regarding this matter. It gives an awkward feeling to talk about it with our parents, to be honest. It's like we're not very open. Unlike in other countries where they have sex education and counseling even, here there is no specific subject about it. About sexual orientation, healthy relationships, or birth control. These are not openly taught. And also, when someone mentions a condom or something contraceptive, the people automatically laugh, or they automatically embarrass the person who says it and laugh at him. Even if it's a teacher, even if it's an adult. And also, this is funny because most men here hesitate to purchase contraceptives because cashiers will give them a strange look. Like, I remember one time I was in 7-Eleven and this foreigner, so he grabbed the condom from the rack on the side of the cashier, and then the cashier gave him a strange look like, sir, like, I was like, it's funny, and the guy just ignored her. Me, I was laughing that time. Because I feel like it's a very ignorant reaction. On top of that, using birth control is very limited, especially for underage people. Unlike in other countries, contraceptives are very accessible. I remember I have a classmate in college. She brought so many condoms in our apartment. She said she got it from her mom because their village distributed free condoms and she gave us one for each. And we kept it in our wallet because they said it is lucky charm for money. That is what condoms are for here in the Philippines, that you'll never run out of money if you keep a condom in your wallet. We don't know how that works, but we did it anyway. It's irresponsible men. Unlike in much of the West, where men who get women pregnant and walk out on their responsibilities find the government dipping into their bank accounts to support the children. Filipino men can easily get away with abandoning their families and frequently do. There is also a degree to which adultery is a Philippine national sport. If a marriage does break down, there is no divorce in the Philippines. And annulment is a very long and expensive process that many can ill afford. Meaning that many are stuck in irrevocably broken marriages. They simply split up and move on with their lives. Men in this situation often end up with new families, with new women. But for women, it is less easy because men are less likely to take on another man's children. The concept of step-parenting is less common here than elsewhere. I saw a documentary about the Philippines' burgeoning birth rate, in which a retired government minister stated this opinion, that all children are blessings and that if you have many children, you can build a great army with which to defend your country. Around 12 million Filipinos are classified as living in extreme poverty, and many more besides those struggle with the basic provision of sufficient food to their families. We would make a poor army then by any standards. And what other people say about why there are many single moms here? Hypocrisy. Many do not really believe in Catholic teachings until it becomes useful to them economically and for keeping up appearances. But the issue of single mothers is not directly related to Catholicism. According to them, it's more born out of culture of hypocrisy and ignorance. But let's not judge our single mothers out there. They're single mom because they are strong women. To all the girls out there, if you're watching this, you cannot entrust yourself to anyone nowadays. Even if your boyfriend tells you how much he loves you every day, be responsible for yourself. Be responsible. You know there's no abortion here. You know they will judge you. You know you'll be ruined. Take good care of yourself. Be responsible enough. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I hope it answers your questions. I think it's more of really responsibility. It's true that we are conservative because of the influence of religion, and people blame religion because they are not responsible beings. I'll see you in my next video, guys. Thank you for watching.